This is the Mary Washington star. The star points are formed by making a flying geese unit. Instead of cutting all of the separate triangles, we're going to do a shortcut. We start by cutting the pieces. A flying geese unit is always twice as long as it is tall. This is a 6.5 by 3.5 inch background piece and 2 squares 3.5 inches. I've already marked the squares for you. These have lines down the center. The line is actually drawn 2 threads over from the center toward the outside. This gives you the turning room, so when the thickness of the fabric turns over, it will exactly come to the corners of your background piece. Why have we drawn this second line? Because if we didn't do that, all of this would be waste. At $11 a yard, not a good idea. When we sew on this, what we will get is an automatic half-square triangle that we can use in another project. Once this is sewn down, it will look like this, and you will cut here. Before you cut, be sure to fold it back and make sure that it's a perfect match with the background. Then you can cut this line and remove that little piece. After that, you're going to put on the second piece. You have your 2 lines. Do not start at the point. If you try and feed this point under the needle on your sewing machine, it will have a habit of pushing that down and making a crumpled mess. Just turn the piece around and start sewing where you're not feeding a point under the needle. Once you've sewn this on, do the same thing, fold it back, make sure it matches exactly, then trim away the excess. Now you have your flying geese. There will be very little to trim off because you've started with the right size, but fabric is a fluid medium, so you always want to check. I've marked my 6.5 inch line with a sticky note so I can tell where it is without looking. And I know that 6.5, half of it is 3.25. So I line my ruler up with the 3.25 inch mark right at the point of the triangle, and I make sure that I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance left between that point and the edge. And then whatever's sticking out around the edge, I trim off, turn it around, match that exactly to the 3.5 by 6.5 inch mark, and trim the rest. I'm left with the perfect flying geese unit, and I never sewed a triangle.